NSFW, what unexpectedly turned you on? We were going through our old childhood books to donate to charity and she found this Sesame Street picture book I must have owned as a kid. She was going to get rid of it but I wanted to keep it. She started reading through it to me to tease me. When she got to the section about Ernie taking a bubble bath with his rubber ducky in her teasing voice, it awoke something in me I didn't know about myself before. We kept that book and now she reads it to me on my birthdays before we have bubble bath sex. My fiance registered sign makes this sound when he's turned on by something I'm doing that he's looking at on me, but it can be a problem sometimes because he sometimes uses the same sound when he sees like an ad for food that looks really good. Read this as, what unexpectedly turned on you? And started writing about how when I was younger my grandma's sweet dog almost tore off 2 of my fingers. Thank God I went back and read it. When my so jokingly bit my butt. I was lying naked on the bed after a shower and he straight up bit my butt cheek as a joke and dang. It did things. When my husband looks back when he's backing in the car. Wife couldn't reach something and I caught her hopping up to try and get to it when she didn't know I was there. My brain went into primal must frick right now mode. A couple years back. My girlfriend at the time and I used to have sex while Pandora played. Every once in a while a car insurance commercial would play in the middle of songs. We laughed it off. But it didn't distract us from doing the deed. Fast forward a couple years forward and I hear that same car insurance commercial. Instant erection. This guy I was seeing called customer service to get a company error corrected. He used the softest, firmest, most understanding tone I've ever heard and I lost my damn mind. My friend will look me in the eye when I'm talking to him and like raise his eyebrows and shitty to show he's listening, and goddamn is it hot. Maybe it's a female stereotype but good listeners are hot lamfeo. My former professor took job as copywriter for the education system in our company. So I write the technical stuff. Send it to him and he'll make it nice to read. First time I read his work on my text. I was amazed by how well he understood what I meant and made it so much better. And I got wet. I still sometimes think about certain paragraphs when masturbating. Edit. Holy smokes, this blew up. Thanks guys. For those who'd like to see the infamous paragraphs. The text is all in check and is all about printing machines the company uses. He just really nicely explained how UV print works. My hairdresser straddles my leg once in a while and gets really close. She also gives the best scalp massages. 70-year-old woman said I was handsome. Got a raging hard on for some reason. I think I need a girlfriend. Edit. BTW guys. I'm 20 years old. I may or may not have a granny fetish. I, female, was doing dishes. And one of male friends who was visiting was watching me from the doorway. Unbeknownst to me. When I noticed. He was just casually standing there. Leaning against the frame. Arms crossed. Moist. Panties. I accidentally padloved myself. There used to be this porn I watched with 2 chicks in it that had no audio other than music by Disturbed. Years later Disturbed came on the radio, I instantly got turned on. Was so confused for like 10 seconds. Edit. 7 years. 100. 000 plus total karma. And this is my top comment. Great. Taking a Greek mythology course and the TA. A curvy redhead. Said. If you want to talk about mythology for hours on end. I'm your girl. Someone being extremely passionate about history or doing well in Scrabble. It's very weird. First off, I'm a guy. So my high school had a darkroom for a black and white film photography program. I was the only boy in the course. There were about 10-15 girls in the class. I was pretty good. And by my junior year, I had been involved in the program longer than any other student. Having so much experience led to me being a good place to go for advice on printing their photos. I would go to their station to figure things out. And the same 3 friends of mine, that were girls, in that class, would come up behind me and rest their chin on my right shoulder. And that would always wake me up. I never expected something like that to send goosebumps up and down my body and warrant a reaction downstairs. But it happened. And I took it in stride from then on. That scene in GoldenEye where Xenia on a top squeezes that guy to death awoke something in me at a very young age. Driving off cliffs in video games. Falling in them in general. Also those videos of people jumping around on very high ledges and buildings. Late to the party but whatever. Being in my tent. And X200B. Like. I don't even know. When I'm camping and I retire to my tent. Slip into my sleeping bag and zip up the little tent door. I have no idea but apparently that really does it for me. Someone acting out of character. So a shy guy suddenly being aggressive or a loud dude being quiet in a situation that might call for it. So like a big loud dude being soft towards a cat. Or a quiet dude defending someone in a fight. Edit. WHOMST is paying money to gold this. Physical therapy. A no bullshit Indian lady is working on my neck. I start to droop my head. She unceremoniously yanks me back into position. Double quote. Keep your head up. Damn. Yes, mistress. Was in bed with my girlfriend and the remote was at the end of the bed. I sit up and basically lazily reach for it on all fours. I'm in some boxer briefs that have a pouch-like thing for your junk, so when I bent over, my ball bulge was pretty much in her face. She just playfully punched me in the balls and it hurt and stung. But I almost instantly got hard. I'm now laying on my back holding my balls in protection. She can see the outline of my obvious erection hog and starts laughing confusedly. She volunteered to blow me as an apology, and since I was already hard, I asked her to tap my balls a little throughout and I nutted harder than ever. Basically now all of our foreplay commences with light ball busting. When I was a freshman in college, an English boy in one of my classes said the phrase, "war of attrition," with his English accent, and I had to go take a breather. When I'm cuddling with a guy and I'm little spoon and I can feel him getting hard. That really does it for me. My boyfriend speaking Gaelic to me for the first time. He was just telling me what the police are called in Ireland, but frick. Talk about a waterfall. Went to yoga with my lady friend. At the end of the class, the instructor had us all lie on our backs on our mats and she was humming or lightly singing. Then she rubbed a lemony oil on our shoulders and foreheads. And the touching and humming gave me a braingasm, and I've been into ASMR ever since. My lady friend did not like hearing how much I enjoyed the conclusion to the class. A mistake I never repeated. Edit. Lotion switched to oil. An ex-boyfriend lecturing me about money. I don't think it was the context. Just the way he did it. Like a stern father. He did a lot of things in a stern, disapproving dad way, and IDK it was hot. I guess this means I have daddy issues IDK. A girl I was friends with had apparently been giving me hints for a while that I hadn't been picking up on. One time we are hanging out and she goes to take a pee. She yells at me from the bathroom to come here. I walk up to the door and ask her what she needs. With no hesitation she says, double quote, "Come in here. I want you to watch me pee." Unexpected turn on for some reason. Hung out mini golfing with a group of friends. Our resident goof was being her typical self. Kinda ditzy and along for the ride, but not very skilled. Just sorta aloof. Also she's into me. But it's unfortunately not mutual. We all went to play pool as a last minute decision. And as it turns out, her aunt has a pool table in her house and she's been playing for ages every week. She snapped instantly into an extremely unusual focus and level of skill. The pool cue was an extension of the body that she was moving across, on, and around the table. Like it was a sophisticated dance that nobody knew better than her. I have never been more aroused by that woman than I was that night. Ever since. It's been the same group dynamic. She's been the same person that I'm platonically friends with. I'll never forget how she woke something up in me that night though. Or how weird it was. Older women who give off dom mommy vibes. Once had an older woman with that short silver fox haircut and a stronger jaw call me a good girl while I was at work because I did something right with her order that nobody else could for some reason. I'm a relatively straight female. Or am I? Well frick. IDK. So when I was in my early teens and just discovering sex, I decided that since I was a bit of an artist, I could draw porn for myself. I started with a wagon that was all well and good. But then I decided to try IDCK and suddenly sproing. I was not expecting that in the slightest. I wouldn't say it turned me on, but I've once seen my teacher's belly button because her shirt wasn't covering it properly for a moment. And let me tell you, it's a fine looking belly.